Well, a very good afternoon to you. You're joining us live from our studios here at Mombasa Road, where it has been the 54th Jamhuri Day that the country has celebrated. President Uhuru Kenyatta giving out a very, very interesting speech today, saying that his administration will be focusing on increasing the rate of development in the country. He did also mention that he will be reaching out to his competitors that took part in the August elections. And we'll be giving you a recap on some of the key highlights from that particular speech by the President of the Republic of Kenya. Well, it is also a day we take you through some of the interesting aspects making headlines in the world of business, just coming up in the next few minutes. But we want to start you off with on a tragic note where over 19 people are feared to have died after several vehicles were involved in a multiple accident at Kamokuya Bridge along Kitale-Webuye Highway. And according to Bungoma North OCPD Eliud Okello, a matatu rammed into a tractor that was transporting sugarcane at Kamokuya Bridge. Several other vehicles, including lorries and private vehicles, were involved in the 9 p.m. multiple accident. The Nissan matatu was ferrying passengers from Kitale to Webuye town. The scene of the accident has been identified as a black spot by area residents.
Sister.
Well, we'll be linking up with the reporters on the ground, that is Robert Wanyonyi, to give us a comprehensive update on that developing story. Well, to that speech by the President today, President Uhuru Kenyatta has just led Kenyans in celebrating Jamhuri Day at the Kasarani Stadium, where he urged Kenyans to build a peaceful nation. The President further said that nobody is above the law. Let's listen in to part of what he had to say with respect to uniting the country.
Fellow Kenyans, unity is paramount to the realization of a peaceful and prosperous nation. Every Kenyan must understand its value and how our individual choices, particularly in politics, play into building or destroying it. The unity of our nation is the shield against the dangers that have shattered other countries. It protects us against any enemy by frustrating attempts to divide and therefore weaken us. Unity allows us to forge forward together in building families, communities, counties, and a nation that knows what it wants and where it is going. Every day we see evidence of how much stronger and well-off united families are. It is indeed the same with a nation. Families that are united may disagree on some matters, but they will always be guided by the well-being of the family. And they know that disagreement must never lead to discord. Let us bring this understanding to our citizens so that in our words and in our actions, we reject the politics of divisiveness and confrontation. Fellow Kenyans, today we also celebrate a rebirth of a nation, a shift from the old to the new. Today we celebrate what our founding fathers imagined and created, but we also celebrate the generational transition from their generation to ours. When our founding fathers constituted Kenya, they did it with the fresh wounds from the Independence War. They had conquered the enemy, but the daunting task of uniting our communities into one nation remained. That was why they taught us to celebrate our diversity and to preserve our traditions. But they did caution that we should not poison the minds of our young people with ethnic disharmony. As your fourth president, I will not tire of reminding you that you will have a fifth and even 10th president but we will not have a second, third, or fourth Kenya. Preserving Kenya is preserving yourself, because Kenya is you, and you are Kenya. I am proud to be a Kenyan, to belong to a nation that has within a few short decades shown the world the excellence of its people, its love of democracy and liberty, and its ambition to be a force for good in our region and the world. I call on all Kenyans to join me in proclaiming pride in our beloved country. Celebrate being a part of a generation that can and will be remembered fondly by those yet to be born for the achievements you will add to those of our forefathers. As your president, I also pledge to you today to continue to work to bring harmony between communities, to deepen our unity, and to foster national cohesion. I want you in this spirit to also turn to the person sitting or standing next to you. Greet them and say how proud you are to be Kenyan, and tell them that you are their keeper, because to be Kenyan, at its core, is about loving your neighbor. My friends, our founding fathers taught us one more thing, that the person who plants is not always the one who harvests. They toiled to plant this nation, though they knew it was their children who would harvest the fruits of their labor. It is our generation that has reaped that harvest, and we have the responsibility of protecting our inheritance, renewing it periodically, so that our children and our children's children can harvest the fruits of our labor. Fellow Kenyans, there is a different thinking that has been evolving, a thinking that offends the principles of the founding fathers, the thinking that promotes the belief that we strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. It wants us to believe that a Kenyan can climb the ladder of prosperity only if he brings down a fellow Kenyan. This thinking has cost us lives and property in the last few months. I condole with those who have lost their loved ones and property in the recent disturbances. Fellow Kenyans, for a long time now, many in our political arena have believed that politics matters more than economic development. We have drawn Kenyans into our squabbles. For 50 years, we have squabbled over politics for politics' sake and squandered economic opportunities that would have made a difference in the lives of our people. My friends, there is abundant evidence that focusing on economic development does transform nations.
Well, the president also did touch on the fact that value addition will be critical for Kenya. He mentioned that no more raw coffee will be exported out of the country, and this is set to spur activity, especially in the agricultural sector. And also, the president did issue a number of state commendations during that particular ceremony, where we did see the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Commercial Bank, Joshua Oigara, getting CBS, as well as Dr. Kariuki of Cooperative Bank also being honored. We wish them all the best. Moving on, the Catholic Men Association, in collaboration with Britam Holdings PLC, has launched an initiative to promote and uplift the boy child. amidst shocking statistics showing high percentage of boys aged between 9 and 17 years had watched porn and experimented with the drugs. Britam Group MD Benson Waregi said a lot of focus had been given to the girl child and boys had been forgotten. This focus on girls has resulted into more affirmative action and better transition in the corporate world. Britam is the key sponsor of the initiative, whose proceeds will support the project through mentorship, modeling and rehabilitation of boys aged between 9 and 17 years.
So thank you very much. I think he's a boy, so he's strong.
The Beacon Boys project, as we have been informed, is a project to empower the boy child who over the years appears to have been neglected, as a result of which the boy child and the society at large has been disadvantaged. So the idea then is to fundraise and mobilize resources to contribute to the effort of empowering the boy child to become a responsible man.
The history of Malindi's lucrative tourism business is not new to the world. It dates back to the times of the ancient renowned Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama. Sadly, gone are the days when Malindi used to host thousands of tourists and its name was mentioned synonymously with the global rich and famous. As Peter Okaba now reports, all that remains is a ghost town and empty resorts. Take a look.
Philip Chai, a renowned veteran hotelier and the current chairman of the Kilifi Hotel Keepers and Caterers Association, says in the golden days, tourism was booming from the 1st of July to about the 30th of April, with 98% bed occupancy, forcing hoteliers to convert even offices into rooms and sometimes seek accommodation from locals.
Tourism was booming when hotels were full back to back. From 1st of July up to 30th of April with a 98% occupancy. When a hotel registers a 98% occupancy, that is an overbooking. We were turning offices into double rooms, sometimes taking local accommodation in other small enterprises like small hotels in Malindi.
Chai, however, says things started changing when tourists discovered other destinations with better beaches with lesser disturbances by beach operators, which adversely affected the Malindi destination. Malindi tourism has now shifted to Watamu due to the wide scenic beaches, blue oceanic waters and a cool environment full of privacy.
Things started changing when people discovered other destinations with better beaches, with lesser disturbances by beach operators, which by and by affected tourism in Malindi.
It seems the major reason that has led to the migration of tourists from Malindi to Watamu is the continuous silting of the Sabaki River into the Indian Ocean, especially during the monsoon season, thus muddying all the Malindi beach waters and the beaches themselves.
Winds, you realize all the water from Ocean Beach to the Marine Park gets colored because of the silting. Honestly, any foreigner who decides to come on a beach holiday enjoys clean beach with warm blue waters of the Indian Ocean. If he's not able to get that, he will look for a better destination with that quality of facility.
According to Chai, the issue of land for more development has also been a challenge, where investors could not acquire space for development, especially along the seafront, compared to Watamu, which was almost empty with beautiful beaches. The tourism product in Malindi has also aged and is crying for investment and redevelopment. George Edage is environmental advisor at the Malindi Marine Park Boat Users Association. He says they have been suffering because Malindi lacks proper marketing strategies, unlike in Watamu where operators sell Watamu as a brand.
Utalii umeshuka kwa sababu mpangilio wetu wa kufanya advertisement ya kuleta watalii Malindi inafanywa kimtu ama kikampuni, si kama sisi sote wawekezaji kwenye upande wa utalii. Hatujakuwa pahali pamoja tukasema kwamba tunaweza kukaa pamoja tukasema tukauza package kama vile Watamu wanauza ama Mombasa ama upande mwingine. Tatizo letu sisi watu wanauza kivyao.
He says stakeholders must come up with new strategies to market Malindi destinations, as well as setting up environmental groups to clean and secure the beach through proper planning that will see the local community benefit more from this sector. Peter Kabak, KTN News.
Over 2,000 commercial enterprises in 3 counties are set to expand their business opportunities, into the expansive U.S. market by December 2018. This follows the signing of a partnership between Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Center of International Private Enterprise. SIPE is a U.S.-based organization affiliated with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The deal was inked between SIPE Regional Director for Africa, Lars Benson, and the Chairman of Nairobi Chamber, Richard Ngatia, at a ceremony that was also attended by the Chamber Chief Executive Officer, Memaisa Kireini.
As the micro, small entrepreneurs, into bracket, Hawking fraternity, within CBD, we are very much willingly to expand. And if possible, if the county government can be in a position to create spaces within the other sub-counties, creating market within the other sub-counties within Nairobi, we are very much willing to move out of CBD to be part and parcel of making Nairobi better, whereby everybody will feel part and parcel of it.
A long-term solution for this problem will be a market within the city, in the same way that other cities have done, putting up a huge building that accommodates thousands. We have seen that in China, we have seen that in America, and everywhere.
Whether you are in the counties, which is where I think in terms of the future of Kenya, it will be in the counties where the economic opportunity and the economic growth is going to drive this whole country forward, but it's going to provide those jobs.
We are actually focusing a lot on the hawkers, the boda and the jua kali, because we feel that this particular group has not been represented very well in the county. We find that there are many small groups that represent them, but we don't have them as a collective. So we are actually starting in that particular location so that we can also ensure that as we are going forward, that they're not left behind.
Quite a noble initiative there to help hawkers across the country. Well, we want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have some interesting conversations coming up here on KTN Business Today.